We have saved 2 boats from a slow death at the boatyard so far. It wasn't easy, but it was doable. And the one thing I can tell you is that when you're buying a boat, it's super exciting. You're looking at the boat through rose-colored glasses and you're only seeing the possibilities of what your life will be like once you have the boat fixed and you've gone sailing, you're sailing into the sunset and everything is going to be amazing. Yeah, and that might lead you to not see some stuff that might make it really, really hard, if not impossible, to fix that boat up and go into the water with it. This is Starry Night, a courageous, plucky sailboat who has only one dream: to sail around the world and have lots of adventures. No, not like that. It's around the world, not through it. But not everything was going to plan. Starry Night was abandoned on the heart for 12 full years. But one day, he found us. My name is Paulo, and this is Katerina. And these are our 2 very overactive kids. After a crazy amount of work, Starry Night is once again ready to sail the oceans. So sit back, relax, and join us in this adventure. And we will all find out together where Starry Night will end up next. You found the boat that you like, the price is great. How do you know if you should pull the trigger? Most of the things aboard a boat can be fixed. Some of them are really expensive to fix, but they're worth it. And others are not that expensive, but involve a lot of labor. But they're still worth it. But there are some things that are so labor intensive and so expensive that maybe you're better off choosing a different boat. One of those things, in my opinion, is the engine. If you buy a boat that turns out to have a bad or non-working engine, it might bankrupt you. It might be really, really difficult to get that boat in the water again. Because we are talking about, in this case, about boats that people buy on a budget, and repowering a sailboat, it's a costly thing. If you do the work yourself, you still need to buy an engine. And buying an engine can cost like $10,000, and that's a lot of money. So it might be worth it to look for a boat whose engine is at least working. And then, even if it is working, if you need parts for it, you gotta remember, these are marine-grade parts, and they don't cost the same as they cost for a car engine. For instance, if your heat exchanger is broken and you need to buy a new heat exchanger, just the core is $1,000. If you need to buy the whole assembly, you're looking at $3,000. So check the engine thoroughly and make sure that it will work for your needs. Another thing that needs extreme attention to is the standing rigging. Boats have a mast, if they're sailboats, of course, and that mast is hauled up by what's called the standing rigging. This is usually done by means of stainless steel wire. And this stainless steel wire has 2 fittings at each end. They can be swageless or stay-lock, or they can be swaged. It doesn't matter which kind you get, they must be inspected. And one easy way to do an inspection is to rub your hand in the cable, the stainless steel cable, and if you feel a protrusion on one of the strands, then you know that strand is bad and that rigging is probably shut. But this is not all. You need to do a much more comprehensive inspection of you or the surveyor need to do a much more comprehensive inspection of the standing rigging, because standing rigging can cost like $20,000. It is a lot of money, again. So if you can get a boat that the standing rigging is okay, that's awesome. But if you end up with a boat that has, for instance, you check the rigging, it all looks okay, but you realize that the bottom of the standing rigging is stay-lock, which is very durable, and it can be maintained, But then the top of the mast, where you didn't climb to and check, is actually swageless. Not swageless, sorry, swaged. And those swaged fittings, they don't last nearly as long as stay lock. And they might be corroded, and you might find that strands are breaking on the cable. Even if all of the things on deck look good, you need to go up the mast and you need to check that. Because if that's the case, you might have a boat that will, take all your money and not let you go sailing. A very common problem on sailboats, and for that matter, any boat that's made out of fiber, is soft decks or rotten core. You see, this happens because when the boat is constructed, the deck is actually, I'll show you. I think it's easier if I do a drawing. I have just a second. Oh, savage. Can you see that? Can you move to the side? Yeah, there you go. So, let's say this is the side of the hull. You have a hull on the other side. So the way the deck is built is it has a top layer of some kind of fiber. It might be fiberglass, it might be something else, it doesn't matter. And then it has wood or plywood, or sometimes it's foam, and if it's foam, usually it doesn't rot. And you might even have balsa core here. This does two things. It gives rigidity to the boat, but also it allows for the use of much less material and a much lighter boat. The problem is you have the deck fittings, you have the fittings for the cable, for the standing rigging, and all of these are screwed into the deck. And over time, what happens is that water starts getting in to the deck and it will rot the core out. So what ends up happening is that the core is now rotten, it is not structural anymore, and when you step here, it's soft. The whole deck becomes soft. Now, you might think, well, I can live with the soft deck. Well, not so fast, because the problem is, on the side of the boat and holding the mast, you have the standing rigging. The standing rigging does not just pull up, it pulls in that direction too. And if you have soft cores on the deck, you might buckle it and your boat will not be stable. Now, this can be fixed. It is possible to fix this, but trust me, it's so much work. And if you can buy a boat that has good solid decks, it's better. Just trust me, it's better. Here's another problem that will rob you of all of your money and leave you stranded on the hard forever. I'm talking about encapsulated chain plates. The chain plates are plates that are made of stainless, and they connect your standing rigging to the deck, so they hold up your mast. And for some reason I can't understand, some boat builders decided that it would be a good idea to encapsulate them inside the hull. Now, there's two problems with this. The first one is that you can't inspect them. The only way to inspect them is to, well, for a normal person, you might be able to use some kind of X-ray imaging system, but I'm betting that you're not going to do that. So you have to cut the hull out to inspect the chain plates. And because you cut the hull out, you're going to replace the chain plates before you encapsulate them again or find a new system. The second problem that it creates is that stainless steel needs oxygen to remain stainless. If you don't have oxygen, stainless steel corrodes. Not as fast as other metals, but it still corrodes. That's why you typically don't use stainless steel in missions that are underwater for prolonged periods of time. But yeah, so if you can avoid a boat that has encapsulated chain plates, it's better. It's better for sure. Here's another thing that might cost you a lot of money if it's not properly checked. Some boats use a bolt-on keel. What that means is that the keel is built separately from the hull, and then they are connected to the hull with bolts. Now, usually these bolts are fairly easy to inspect, but just because they're rusty doesn't mean that they are bad, and worst of all, just because they look clean doesn't mean that they are good, because they might be corroding not where inside the boat, but where the keel joins to the boat. They might have corrosion there. Another thing that I've seen is boats that have the bolts for the keel encapsulated in resin. And in that case, it's even more difficult to determine the state of the bolts. Nevertheless, you should know that bolts for the keels are not good forever. If you buy a 20, 30, 40-year-old boat and the keel bolts have not been replaced, you might start thinking about doing that replacement. And that is going to cost a lot of money. Not only will you need the constant assistance of the crane to lift the boat, or the travel lift to lift the boat as you try to remove the keel, but also you probably need to have some bolts manufactured, because you can't just go to a store and buy the bolts. So if you can find a boat that the keel is not bolted on, that's perfect. If you can't, the next best thing is buying one where you know the state of the keel bolts, or you know that they have been replaced. So yeah, I hope I didn't put you off buying a boat because of all of these issues, but it's something that you should know. You should know about these things, and maybe it will help you make a better decision or make a good decision when you're buying a boat. Because a lot of people, they buy them, they don't know about these things, and then they find these problems, and it's the end of a dream, because they just don't have enough money to fix them, and they were not counting on these kind of problems existing. Well, thank you for watching. See you the next time.